All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Rattle Cage podcast. As always, I'm Ryan, joined by Sterling. We got the first cookie cutter track of the year. In Phoenix. I won't lie, I kind of enjoyed the first part of the year, but it is kind of DFS wise not as easy to predict. As far as road courses, was pretty okay, but Talladega or Daytona and Atlanta just not good as far as predictability. So this is the first
Yeah,
slate that's somewhat predictable.
I'm glad you said somewhat though, because we still have that
Somewhat,
option
yeah,
tire.
because of course NASCAR throws that option tire at us. So that makes it a little bit less predictable, but as far as just basic on track product, not a lot of passing here for the most part, so should somewhat be predictable.
Yeah, I think
Other
it still
other
plays
than the
out.
option. Yeah. Yep. Like Cruz always says, sometimes it's big enough of a deal where it's not a big deal basically. Just hopefully like somebody like Ty Dillon doesn't throw in the option tire and rack off 30 fast laps and basically he's
I,
optimal just because of that.
I could see it being something like that.
Yeah, I could too. I could
Catherine
too.
leg.
And yeah, which boy, I mean, no offense to her, that car was pretty terrible in practice and qualifying.
Yeah, it was actually kind of closer than what I expected out of her, though. Really, like she was still a couple seconds off, but
Yeah. Yeah.
and she was
Yeah.
like
So
kind of asking for tips on her entry and exit and whatnot. So like
she
she was trying to
was.
use practice to really figure it out. So
Yeah,
I think
she
that
was. Yeah,
says
they
more
did.
than most.
Yeah, they did show that on the broadcast. I did see that where at least she was asking like where she was going wrong and trying to get better. So like that's good.
It was kind of funny though, because the spotter basically told her like, "You don't worry about that. There's no point. Like, just
Yeah,
make
you'll
your
you'll
lap."
learn it in the race. Yeah. Yeah, so as we say that, like I said, this is the probably the most predictable race we've had so far this year. I'm with Sterling. I can't wait for the next 2 weeks, Vegas and Homestead.
Absolutely.
But this race is okay. Other than like Sterling kind of alluded to, we have the option tire this week, so teams will be given 6 sets of hard tires and 6 set of option, quote unquote, option softer
I
tires.
think I think
Um,
they only get two sets of the option.
Yeah, 2 sets of the option and 6 sets of the other, is what I heard, and, basically, the options are supposed to be a little bit faster and fall off quicker, although we weren't really seeing a lot of fall off on it, but,
No,
the hard tire obviously is just the regular, you're not gonna be as fast as the option tire, but yeah, we weren't really seeing a whole lot of fall off, but maybe they were saying today is supposed to be a little bit warmer. Maybe that'll help it. We'll see. So, but yeah, strategy wise, Sterling going into this race, it's 312 laps. There is, you know, you're gonna want to have dominators here more than any other track. I'm gonna go to the. I know you have it here somewhere. Oh, Pat Phoenix
should be.
Optimals. Yep. So here are the optimals. Obviously the championship race. Yeah, those are kind of, I don't know. I almost like to look at the spring races. Obviously, a lot of people are, quote unquote, on vacation, probably testing, trying different things. So I always like to look at the spring race probably more than the championship race. Would you agree with that, Sterling?
To an extent, yeah. The nice thing
Yeah.
about it though is all races at Phoenix are the same amount of laps. So
Yeah, that is true. Like we could look at it. It's just so it looks like you're gonna want around. There's 387. There's 389.
if you go down to the bottom
391.
on the left there, I have all the averages for everything.
Oh wow, look Sterling. Sterling is like the goat of this. Like he does go above and beyond and put all this together. And all of this is in the Discord. So if you guys aren't part of that Discord, definitely get in it. He does have all this uploaded on there. So we will put a link to the Discord after this records. We'll put a link to the Discord in the comments. Boy, I can't spit that out, but
It's
we just
early
have
yet.
it is very early. So we just we have a lot of great guys in the Discord. Shout out to guys that split the Xfinity race yesterday. Ben and what was that? RJ. How do you say that?
I don't really know how you say his name. I anytime I think about it or say it, I say it different. Usually, I just
Yeah.
call him RJ, but
Yeah, RJ and Ben, they both were in that. What was it, like 26 ways or something?
yeah, I
It was a crazy split for the
think they
Xfinity
each
race.
won like 22 or 2400 or something, which I mean, still
Yeah.
a profit. So
Oh, absolutely. I'd take it, but I definitely see Ben's frustration. Like you want a GPP, you're open, you know.
yeah, that's
But
he's never happy if he's splitting more than like two ways.
yeah, so yeah, we have a lot of guys like that in there. We got, Cam Fan, Ben, Brad, D Bulls, we have a Stukas, Cruz jumps in. Uh, yeah, we have a lot of great minds. Me, Sterling, like I've said it every week. Like if you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room. And yeah, we're definitely not, I'm definitely not the smartest guy in that room. So
Yeah,
definitely it's free.
and don't feel like you have to hop in there and like contribute anything. Like
No,
just get
no.
in, listen, talk.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Ask questions, do whatever. Yeah. We had that one guy the other day that said, "Hey, I'm sorry I don't ever say anything." I'm like, yeah, we don't care. Just get in and absorb stuff. But yeah, this whole sheet in here is in the Discord. Like I said, he's got all kinds of stuff: laps led by position, driver rankings, pass optimals, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, so going back to this, here's his average points: 394. Driver salary looks like you're going to spend about the 49,000. Roughly 500 ish. Average speedster points 132. Average cautions. Yeah, Phoenix isn't known for a lot of cautions. So, and looks like number of speedsters, number of lineups. So, yeah, you're going to want at least 2 to 4 speedsters, it looks like. And that's
yeah,
just
which
lap leaders, right?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
lap leaders and fast laps. So I feel like you're looking like more 2 to 3. I feel like
Yeah.
4 is very rare, but
Right. Right. You're just hoping, yeah, somebody from the back can move up, I guess.
with
Y-
this option tire, you might be more likely to see a fourth. So
Yeah, yeah, we should allude to that. I know Richmond's a little bit more of an abrasive surface, so tire wear always comes in the fact without the option tire. But they did run this option tire at Richmond, and we saw who was it, Suarez and McDowell, just completely like they threw it on like mid race and just you know, which
yeah,
unfortunately with Phoenix, this is a very unfortunate thing. You cannot pass. And I could see somebody like that doing it here, like a Ty Gibbs or a Alex Bowman. Because if they throw in the option tire early and get up to 10th, and then they're just like, oh, well, we burned through it, but hey, we're up to 10th. We got our track position.
yeah, that's. I think it's most likely one of those guys or
Yeah.
Briscoe, but
Yeah,
I
I do
I
too.
just kind of have a gut feeling it's really gonna be like Todd Gilliland or Zane Smith.
Yeah, unfortunately. And I mean, yeah, you do, use punts here and there, and you're gonna be happy if you use that punt. But yeah, it's gonna come from a punt that like John Hunter Nemechek starting. What is he starting like second to last? You know,
Yeah,
so
36.
yeah. Looks like you are getting some guys that start or that can finish. Like Haley finished 24th and was optimal. This one has Stenhouse finishing 19th optimal. So it doesn't look like, you definitely need
Which
guys
is that
finishing.
one right there, that 23 spring race, that's somewhat interesting just because Stenhouse is fairly cheaper this time around, starting about the
Yes.
same spot, so
Yeah.
could see him replicate that finish.
To be honest, yeah, it says so. I made a sheet. I just Dan did it. Yeah, he starts 22nd. He needs to finish 19th to get 5 times value. So that is a very likely scenario, like you said. Maybe he does it again. So laps led by position. Definitely a guy starting on the pole. It looks like leads a lot of it, as you can see. Um, this is where we're all coming from. The William Byron, probably train.
Yeah, that's I don't really see a way around not playing him.
Yeah, yeah, we'll get into that. Looks like second place. Yeah, definitely has some. Third place actually looks like is a little bit more consistent than second place. Excuse me. Um, Other than that, it just looks like they're just a bunch of one offs and two offs.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's just probably some random driver that started. Driver ranking. Definitely, when you come here, you definitely think of. I always thought of two guys, but I guess you gotta kind of think of three guys. I always thought of Blaney, Bell, and like I said, then I looked at Byron's stats here. Byron's stats here are really good.
Yeah, so, I mean, just further backs up starting the pool sitter here.
Yes, it does. So let me actually sort this by your rank. Smallest, the largest. Yeah, right there. Which Kyle Larson, I didn't really, I would have never thought of Kyle. This would be a Kyle Larson type track, but
Now he normally well, in the beginning, he did struggle here, but
yeah,
as
yeah,
Kyle Larson does, he adapted, so
yep. Yep. So yeah, this good. Yeah, like you said, Byron starting second, Blaney. That's what stinks. There's so much place differential. It's going to be hard to get to like the Byron Blaney Bell, but I probably will have some lineups like that. But
yeah, that's I think you're gonna need 2 of, like, Blaney, Byron, Reddick,
yeah, yeah,
and I feel like Busher is gonna be pretty sneaky. Like, I don't expect a whole lot out of him, but I feel like he's going to be score better than people expect, I guess.
yeah. For some reason, if you always look at the fall race, Reddick always struggles, but the spring race he's always good. You see that the fall race 62, fall race 67.8. So, but the spring race he's always good. For some odd
Yeah.
reason, he just I don't know if they test, like, if he well, although he was in the playoffs last year, wasn't he? He was in the Final Four, so that'd have been no reason for him to test. I don't know. It's just that I've always noticed that with Reddick at Phoenix. It's like, yeah, the spring race he's terrible, or the spring race he's good, fall race he's terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never
Yeah,
really noticed that, honestly.
yeah. So, but all right, so let's go through here. Rankings, you have that. Pass optimals, lap sled, driver ranking. Okay, so here is lap sled. I kind of do want to look at this real quick. So let's sort this by rank too. Who has led the most laps here?
I believe it's Byron, honestly.
Okay, Logano, Blaney,
Oh, Byron ain't even close.
Z- Zane Smith. When did Zane Smith? Oh, that's crazy.
I don't think that's right.
Okay, that's all good. We'll go over what do we got? Percentage of. Oh, this is percent in the top 15. This is nice too. Certainly got all kinds of nice stuff to look at here. Let's look at the rank. This is nice to look at. Like, obviously, if you're a fast car, you're gonna want it. You're gonna run in the top 15. So obviously, we got Blaney, Byron, Larson, Bell, Hamlin, Reddick. Let's see if there's anybody here that sticks out. There's Chase Briscoe. Chase Briscoe in a lesser car. Ty Gibbs, that's not a bad other than these two. Which I mean, obviously he must have improved, and because Ty Gibbs is another guy starting in the back. Busher, Suarez. Okay. That's kind of nice to look at too. Okay,
Ooh.
let's look at this. So fast laps. Sort this out. So who has the most fast laps? Blaney,
That
Byron, Bell.
yeah, and that 95 for Zane Smith, that's supposed to be for Byron.
Oh, okay, okay, all good. So yeah, Byron would be up there then, but so once again, you got your Byron, Bell, Blaney here. You got the Killer Bees, as the Steelers used to be. Um, so trying to see if anybody else, Chris Busher, Gibbs. Uh, yeah, that's kind of interesting. Chase Briscoe once again. Briscoe might be.
I think I was kind of hoping he would qualify better because I felt like coming into the week he was going to be somewhat sneaky
Yeah.
just because his results aren't necessarily the greatest, but in the beginning he was the car to beat here at Phoenix. He won that first race.
Yes, he did. Yeah, I do remember that now. I kind of forgot about that, to be completely honest with you.
And we know if you can win in SHR equipment, you should be able to dominate in JGR. So
Yes, yes. So going to the next page, quality passes. Reddick ranks first, and Blaney, Bell, Hamlin, Busher, Hosevar, Chastain.
I think
Are these three?
Chastain and Bowman is pretty big to stop and think about since Chastain
Yes.
starts 24th and I believe Bowman starts 32nd.
Yeah. Yeah. Both of them are great.
And then even Suarez right there, he starts 31st.
Yes. Yes. So all them guys are going to come into play. Let's real quick sort this one. So we got Blaney Byron again as the average running position. So it's another good thing to look at. Chastain obviously can get up there and stay up there.
And then, not to kind of jump too far ahead of ourselves here, but if you look at those top five there, that is almost identical to what you're going to see if you look at practice.
Yes. Yep. I completely agree. Uh and then we got the next gen finishes. I think yeah, this is already sorted. Obviously, once again, Blaney Byron up at the top. Like we're gonna see 2 or 3 of the killer bees up there in every category here. So yeah, you're definitely gonna want 2 or 3 of them killer bees in your lineup. I think we're gonna call them guys the killer bee. I
Sounds
just
good.
so I just came up with that. We're gonna stick to it. So, all right. So now to the driver by driver breakdown. So, the Sterling first off, William Byron, 10 grand starting first. I mean, I know you said in the Discord, it's like you can't not play him. So I'm gonna go.
No, it's
I'm gonna go completely with you and say he's gonna be probably my highest owned guy.
yeah, same here. I feel like if you don't play him, you're literally just hoping he wrecks or something stupid.
Yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree. So yeah, Byron's definitely getting green for me.
So I was
Uh,
trying to think about it. Say he leads the entire first stage there. That's 60 laps, so 15 points for laps led. He averages like 24 fast laps a race, so he should be able to have like 70-ish points by the end of stage one.
yeah,
Obviously,
and
he can lose those, but
yeah,
still.
he definitely could. So I'm just gonna. I did say take some notes. I did the 5 times value. Like I said, obviously 5 times value isn't the Bible, quote unquote. But, like, if I can't see a guy getting 5 times value, I definitely don't want him in my lineup because, I mean, a lot of these guys probably gonna get 10 times value today. You're gonna have guys score over 100 points, so but, I do like to look at that 5 times value because if I can't see a guy get 5 times value, I don't want him. But for Byron to get 5 times value, if he wins, he needs 5 dominator points, or if he finishes second, he needs 9 dominator points, and then obviously third, he would need 10, so on and so forth. So I don't see a situation. I mean, obviously Byron could blow a tire in the first lap and not get any, and finish 20th. But like, I don't see a situation as long as he runs a clean race. You know, I don't see a situation where he doesn't be optimal.
No, that's I honestly think it's pretty reasonable to expect him to lead like a third of the laps, if not more.
Yes, yes. And also, for what it's worth, like I said, DraftKings Sportsbook is not the Bible. Once again, this is just something I look at as a tool. It is not the know all be all. But Byron, Bell, and Blaney are tied for the favorites to win top three and top five. So that's something to note that obviously Vegas thinks that Byron will be up there at the end of the race. So that's just something, like I said, I know the 5 times value in the sports books isn't like the tell all be all, but I also like to look at that, whatever. So next up, we got Joey Logano. To get 5 times value, he's going to have to, it's the same as Byron. He's going to have to win plus 5 Dom points or second and 9 Dom points. And for what it's worth, Sportsbook has him as the sixth favorite to win.
Yeah, coming into the week, well, any short flat track, you automatically think Penske, so you think Logano, you think Blaney, but I'm all in on Byron. I could see a small window of these guys getting there together, but I'm not gonna have any. I'm not building that way. I'm only doing 20 lineups today, and I'm not gonna have any Joey Logano.
No, I think I'm right there with you. I think he's going to be a full fade for me. So, yeah, that's going to be if Joey Logano beats me, Joey Logano beats me. I think I'm going to be right there with you. So,
It is worth noting, though, that on the first try with this option tire at the All Star race, he flat out dominated that race, led 199 of the 200 laps. But that was the All Star race with that weird format. They ran 100 laps, took a caution, ran 50 more, took a caution. So,
yeah, and he was there at the end at Richmond too. He was one of the two that Dylan just wiped out, so
yeah.
it's also worth noting. So, if Joey comes out here and passes Byron on the 5th lap and goes on to dominate, I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm also going to be highly pissed off.
Yeah.
We're gonna be like Brad, the Discord, just completely tilting the entire race.
Oh, yeah. That's You can always count on somebody tilting hard. Usually it's one of us.
So next up, we got Carson Hocevar, starting third. Good for Spire. Um, for what it's worth, 5 times value, you'd have to finish sixth, and DraftKings has him as plus 285 for a top five. So
That's interesting because
yes,
I just honestly I feel like he can do it. I don't
I
think
do
it's
too.
very likely, but
Yeah,
with the amount of shit he has taken over the past just week, really, I don't- I feel like he's not. I feel like he took the same amount of shit as Chastain, but
yeah.
Chastain kind of stepped back a little bit. I don't see Hosor doing that. I see him kind of buckling down more, just trying to prove a point.
Yeah, yeah, I could honestly see him. I could see him getting a top five out of this race. I definitely could. Like you said, I mean, good for him. Like I'm kind of like, listen, he's had a bad pass with the Xfinity and the trucks, right, hooking people and stuff like that. But like, you also know with this next gen car, like you kind of have to race like a dick to be successful.
Yeah, if they would have ran that race out at Atlanta, he might have been
Yeah.
sitting in a playoff spot right now.
Yeah, yeah, you're not wrong. So I think I'm gonna be a little bit on Hocevar just because, and like I said, if you think Hocevar can finish in the top six, it might be worth going over to DraftKings and putting a top five bet on him. Plus 285, so you're almost tripling your money. So,
Yeah, what is he for top 10?
top 10, I actually have it pulled up. Top 10
Minus
Hocevar.
120.
Yeah, wow, that's actually crazy. I'd actually make that bet.
Yeah, I'm going to try to do the math real quick to see what that actually is. So if I did the math right, they're saying he has a 55% chance of finishing top 10.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
No, I think it's the same as they do. More than likely that he finishes top 10. So
Yeah. Yeah, well, I say that's probably a yellow. Josh Berry. It is interesting to note that he did hold his own at Atlanta, but I don't know. I don't.
I
I
mean,
don't know. This is kind of a Penske car.
yeah, and already said when you think short flat track, you think Penske. When you think short flat track, you think Josh Berry. But I don't know. Still new to that team. I just don't think they're quite ready yet.
So DraftKings plus 500 for a top five. He does have to finish fifth to hit his five times value. DraftKings has him at plus 500, and they have him at plus 150 for a top 10. So even DraftKings doesn't think he's going to stay up there.
Now, if you made me like, if I have to pick between Jones, Berry, or Hosevar, I'm going Hosevar every time.
Yep. I completely agree. Are you out on these two then? Because I think I am. I don't think I'm
Yeah.
going to have, especially Eric Jones. I cannot trust Eric Jones up there.
No, even if they run the whole first stage up there, they're going to lose it on pit stops.
Yeah, Eric Jones has to finish eighth for what it's worth. Once again, five times value, you'd have to finish eighth. So
I think he struggles here overall, anyways. So
yeah, let's go over. Actually, we can look at that real quick. Uh, Eric Jones. Yep, best finish of 14th. Looks like other than that, he's about in the 20th. He's got an average finish of 22.1.
yeah, usually he's like a 20th place car at best. So
Yep. So for that reason, I am out. Next up, we got Chase Elliott starting sixth. Um, he has to win, or if he finishes second, he has to get 1.5 Dominator points. DraftKings has him as the eighth favorite to win. I think just because of the killer bees, I think I will not get to it.
it's I'm probably I know I won't get have any in my main 20 build. I might end up with a little bit in my mini max and 20 max builds, but as far as my main like 15 contest approach, I won't have any of Chase Elliott. I
Yeah,
won't have any Michael McDowell.
yeah, yeah. I'm not having any Michael McDowell either. Like I said, good for Spire though. I mean, good for them.
Yeah.
Having Michael McDowell, host of our Justin Haley, all qualifying the top 10. I mean, kudos to them. I mean, they are working their asses off.
Yeah, HMS Light.
Yeah, yeah, basically. So next up is an interesting one. Justin Haley. He has to finish 10th or better to get five times value. DraftKings has him as plus 185 for a top 10.
I think I actually think he's the most likely out of this bunch to be
I do
inside the top
too.
10.
Because he finished top 10 last week at Coda, didn't he?
I can't remember.
I,
He
I,
didn't he didn't run well in the beginning, but I think he was there at the end.
Yeah, I think he was there. I'm gonna go back and look, but I'm pretty. If he didn't, he had a hell of a race. No, he didn't get there. Wow, he finished 16th. Okay, sorry. That was my bad.
He's been somewhat terrible here, actually, but
But
he's
Rodney Childress.
honestly, I somewhat forgot about that.
Yep, Rodney Childress. This is Kevin Harvick and Childress' stomping ground back in the day.
Is he with Haley or is he with McDowell?
I think he's with Haley, isn't he? Or maybe he is with McDowell. I'm gonna Google that real quick. Rodney Childress. Uh, Justin Haley. Yep, crew chief for the number 7 Chevy Camaro, driven by Justin Haley. Justin Haley might be one of those like dart throw kind of things. Like, how I always do the dart throw in the $15. I think Justin Haley might be one of those where
I think he's a perfect player for that, honestly.
I do too. Like I think he's just one of those like I think he goes I mean, you can correct me, but I think he goes under 15% owned, probably maybe even 10% owned.
Yeah, that's something I don't have pulled up actually that I can look at, but I would imagine he's like 5 to 10%, if that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking Justin Haley paired up with Rodney Childress at Phoenix, I think could be like the quote unquote kind of slate breaker ish, where he might get up there and finish in the top 5 and completely shock the world.
Maybe he takes the option tires early and
Very,
leaves.
very well could for 6 grand. I think I can take a risk on that. So,
Seeing him, oh yeah, seeing him projected around 2%.
oh my,
I would kind of expect him to come in a little more than that, but I still
yeah.
expect it to be right around that.
Okay, so just out of curiosity, what's Byron's? He's got to be pretty
I
high, but
want to say he was in the 40s.
that's still not as bad as I thought.
Not even 38 is what I'm seeing.
I actually like that. I actually like that a lot. So, all right, so moving on. So, if you like Justin Haley, obviously, if you have him in, like I said, plus 185 for top 10. So, you can kind of double dip or hedge yourself if you want. But next up, we got Tyler Reddick starting ninth. He has to finish third for 5 times value. This is with no Dom points or anything. You just have to finish third. Sportsbook has him as DraftKings Sportsbooks has him as a fifth favorite option. So, and I definitely agree. I know you and Cam fan were saying this. I definitely think he is the forgotten Killer B. Obviously, his name doesn't start with a B, but I think he's kind of like the guy that gets forgotten here.
I do too. We talked about this quite a bit last night in Discord actually. Where if you compare that price range where you got Elliott right above him, then Reddick, then Briscoe, Chastain, and then I think there's even a couple more right there below them. But I feel like Reddick hands down comes in as the lowest owned of that range there. He's just not as easy to click as a guy starting 30th or
Right, right.
24th. And Reddick, in my opinion, was actually the fastest car in practice.
Yeah.
And he ranks first in quality passes across all 6 next gen races here. So I feel like Reddick is like a slam dunk play. I'm starting most of my builds with Byron and Reddick.
Okay. I will switch that to green. Yeah, I definitely think he's the guy that gets forgotten, like you said. And that's kind of nice when if Fred comes out here and finishes top 3, you're looking like a genius and you're printing money, as
You
Brad always says.
Surge did yesterday.
Yeah, you're just going to your money printing machine and printing money. So next up, we got Denny Hamlin. He has to finish second. He's starting 10th, has to finish second to hit 5 times value, and he is the ninth favorite. For that reason, I'm out on Hamlin. I don't know how you feel.
No, I all week long I didn't really see anything to put me on Hamlin.
Nope.
his practice didn't change that either. So
Nope. So for that reason, I'm out. If Hamlin beats me,
I
Hamlin
I
beats me.
do want to hit on the quick fact that with this option tire, I feel like he's a guy that would excel with that.
Yes.
Older veteran, good at conserving tires. So
Yep. Yeah,
I
you
feel
are
like
right because Bristol, he was up there when that whole tire fiasco. Richmond, he was one of the ones that got turned once again by Austin Dillon. And North Wilkesboro, I don't remember how he finished there, but so you're right. When it comes to conserving tires, you do think of Denny Hamlin.
yeah, that could be a guy you throw in like your late speedster group there. See him
Yeah.
leading late. I don't personally. I don't expect it. I'm just saying that it wouldn't surprise me if he is that guy.
Yep. And Bell and Blaney, we've already kind of touched on these guys. I don't think we need to go in depth. They are the killer bees. I am going to be pretty high on both of them. It's going to be hard to try to get as much of them as possible, but you definitely have to get them in your lineup. They are tied for first on DraftKings as far as winning. Um,
I think I'd have to double check this, but I think Christopher Bell is first or second in speed ranking across the six next gen races
uh,
here.
speed rank.
I
Is it
don't
one?
actually. I didn't
Oh,
actually
okay.
have her. Yeah, that
Oh,
was
okay. I
one of
thought.
the ones that you couldn't find everything, so I didn't make a column
Yeah.
for that.
Okay. So yeah, definitely. We've kind of said it. You're gonna want to start your lineups probably with two, or I mean, if you want to completely punt, three of them. Bell, Blaney, Reddick, Byron. I think you're gonna try to get as many of them as possible. Um. So next up, Busher, another B, but not necessarily a killer B, but definitely a good B here. Starting 13th, he needs to finish 7th. And if you think he gets there, he's plus 110 for a top 10 on DraftKings.
I think that'd be worth a bet.
I think so too. I think so too. I think RFK here, what did he finish like fourth here last year? I believe.
Last year he finished
I think he was top
ninth.
five.
He finished
Oh,
ninth
ninth.
last year, second in the
Oh,
spring
no, in the
though.
spring race. Yeah, that's what I meant. The spring race. Yep, last year, spring race, he finished second. Or I said fourth. I think it was Brad Keselowski that finished fourth. I know. Yes. I know RFK was both in the top five. So that is something to note. He does run good here. Obviously, ninth, second, fifth. He definitely could get up there. There's definitely juicier place differential guys, but I think Chris Buescher will definitely make his way into my lineups.
Yeah, and I think it I think you can kind of view him as almost the same play as Blaney or Bell.
Yeah,
I think obviously Blaney or Bell are more likely to actually dominate a portion of this race, but I think or not Briscoe Busher is a great low owned, just
pivot.
yeah, pivot
Yeah,
way to get different.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, what? Just out of curiosity, what is his ownership looking like? Because it can't be.
His has to be pretty low. Let me
Yeah,
see, about 10% is what I'm seeing.
yeah, I like that. That's a great way to get different, like Sterling said. If you want to, throw a couple darts out there, definitely land on Chris Buescher. So next up, we got the guy that just absolutely destroyed us last week. I mean, he was tilting us the entire race. I guess he did end up finishing what
I want to say
decent,
16th.
yeah, but the whole race he was just killing us. But
It still
Austin's,
ended up not being optimal. So
yeah, that's true. But Austin Cindric, he does have to finish 10th, and if you think he gets there, he's minus 105 for a top 10.
he was actually one of the better cars in practice. And obviously, if you're going to say it again, those
Penske,
Penske cars, you think of
yep.
them when you come to a place like this. But as far as wanting to play them or not, I honestly don't know what I'm gonna do with him just yet.
Yeah, I don't know either because it's tough. I mean, obviously, he is a Penske card, 7,500. I mean, you could almost argue that like he's a pivot off of Busher, but I don't think Cindric has the. I don't know. DraftKings thinks he's going to finish top 10 more than Busher is, but I think that
What about
should be.
Bubba? Where do they have him compared to Bubba?
Bubba plus 190 for a top 10. I only have his, yeah, top 10, one plus 190. So,
Oh, yeah. So they have Cindric far more likely than Bubba,
yeah,
which
yeah,
makes sense. But
yeah, it does make sense over Bubba, but I would have Busher over Cindric. If I had to pick one, I'm picking Busher,
I
even.
would too. But that kind of makes me wonder a little bit because I feel like these guys right in that price range, like Cindric and Bubba and Hocevar and potentially even Gregson or Priest, I feel go low owned because you got Bowman there, you got Gibbs there,
Exactly,
you got
because it's
Suarez there.
Yup. Yeah, exactly. So I think Cindric will go. Yeah. Yeah, you're
Which I
definitely right.
see Cindric projected for a little under 10%. So
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, like shout out to Cruz for this. Like he said this a couple weeks ago. I was watching one of his videos, True DFS. Um, and he's also in the Discord, but he also said like when you're looking at a NASCAR race, like it is nice to like just project guys that are going to finish top 20 versus like chasing these place differential guys that need to finish 25th or 26th to be optimal or quote unquote optimal. But yeah, it's definitely nice to chase the guys that, are going to finish top 20 versus, your John Hunter Nemecheks, your Cody Wares, your, you know, guys
yeah,
like Zane Smiths, your Ty Dillons.
especially depending on what contest you play. Like if you're playing like the $12 engine block where it's a single entry.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, Cindric is very interesting. I mean, that definitely because DraftKings has him. I mean, probably because he's Penske. Let's be real, but it is interesting to note that he is minus 105 where Busher is plus 110. So
I'd
that's
like to see that as a head to head. I'd probably jump
yes.
on Busher pretty.
I I would too. I would too. But next up we got Kyle Busch, guy that came out of nowhere last week. Me being the RCR guy, I didn't even see that coming. I
No,
had I
that's
had I had no Bush, none.
and the thing that sucked the most about that for me was the fact that going into it, he was one of those guys that I was like, he could get there. I don't see it, but he could get there. And then he comes out and like dominates.
Yes, I know. I didn't see that coming. So he has to finish 8th to be 5 times value. DraftKings, notably, has a minus 300 for a top 10, 7th favorite to win this. He did dominate here when he drove for Gibbs. Remember, I think he was dominant before Kevin Harvick started his dominant streak, but it is worth noting he can get around here. Starting 15th, he is a little bit more expensive, but I think he's another one of those pivots that I think not a lot of people go to him. Maybe I could be wrong because people see what he did last week and maybe more people were clicking him, but like I just feel like he could be a decent pivot to where if he sneaks into a top 5, we're all like, huh.
Yeah, that's thing is he didn't do enough in practice for me to like playing him.
No. He
But
was terrible in practice.
it kind of sucks though that I feel like you can take a little bit away from last week because whether it was a road course, it still is that same package they're using this week. So they might have a slight advantage. I can't do it.
Yeah, I'm pretty much right there with you. I might have 1 or 2 lineups like out of my 20. Like just because I could see I could squint my eyes and I could see a scenario where like maybe he does finish a top 5 and, he saves his tires because he is an older veteran. But, yeah, I'm gonna be 1 or 2 max, so I'm gonna have a little bit, not a whole lot. We'll probably go red on him, but definitely worth noting. Next up, AJ Allmendinger. He has to finish 14th. I can't see it. I don't think I'm playing him.
No, that's what I was gonna say. I don't see a whole lot of point in wasting too much time here.
Nope. Kyle Larson. This is an interesting one. From what I saw on the broadcast, it didn't seem like his car was really good in practice. Like not Kyle Larson. Like at least from what I saw from the broadcast, I could be wrong. I know Sterling's got a breakdown of the practice, but when you think of Phoenix, I mean, he is up there as far as finishers, and he's got a little bit more place differential built in um, than Bell and Blaney, and he has to finish fourth. And as far as DraftKings goes, sportsbooks, he's the fourth favorite to win.
Yeah, and that's kind of a struggle for me. That's
Oh,
I hate that you get Kyle Larson starting 17th, and I don't want to play him.
I know, I know.
That's
I
I just I think he's obviously gonna have to lead at that price point.
yep,
We obviously think Byron does that
yeah,
from the get go, and then we feel like it's either Reddick, Blaney, potentially Busher. Those guys all start ahead of him, and then you throw in Bell there too. So I don't see Larson getting it done. And the thing that stuck out to me the most now, there's a lot of guys that started off on the option tire in practice, but Larson was one of those. He did wait a little bit, let the track take more rubber, but Nemechek started off on the option tire, went out immediately. And Nemechek's laps were actually a little bit faster than Larson. Larson had more fall off or better fall off, so his tires lasted a little longer. But I just thought, I mean, I don't think Nemechek and Larson lap time should be comparable at all. And
no,
Nemechek was slightly better. So,
no. And the fact that Larson has to finish fourth to get 5 times value, that's with no Dom points. I don't know. I'm kind of with you. I don't want to say a full fade on Larson, but I might be a full fade on Larson, and that's kind of crazy to say. Like you said, starting 17th, the full fade Kyle Larson, but
and he could even hit value and be nowhere near the optimal. So that's
yeah, yeah. Because like I said, there's going to be guys that score 100 points. So
yeah,
I just look at 5 times value just as like a just as
yeah, just like a general rule of thumb.
yeah, exactly. If I can't see a guy, or if it's like you're squinting your eyes for a guy to get 5 times value, I don't know. I'm more off on him. So next up, we got Riley Herbst. Definitely a guy that impressed there last week, or was it the week before? Yeah, last week. Definitely was running good there. Needs to finish 15th, starting 18th. I don't know. I don't. That's
He
a tough
didn't
one.
show any reason to want to play him. I think the biggest argument you can make for him is the fact that he starts 18th. So against the guys in that price range, he has a less of a chance of going a lap down early.
Yeah,
Which, like, I think we end stage one with probably 10 cars a lap down, if not a little more. So
and it's worth noting he did win here in the Xfinity race that last the championship race. I do remember him winning here.
yeah.
So as far as getting around here, he is decent at getting around here. So I mean,
And
uh,
we know it's a 2311 car. So
yeah, you might have talked me into him a little bit, or I might have talked myself into him a bit.
yeah, I mean, me personally, for right now, my initial gut call from looking through practice and history and whatnot is I'm not playing him. But I
Okay.
feel like when you compare price wise, you got to keep him in the pool.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Next up we got Bubba Wallace. Start 19th. He's kind of interesting. He has to finish 12th. which I think he could get that done. He's plus 190 for a top 10. So that's worth noting that, DraftKings, what's that, about a 25% chance ish that he gets inside the top 10. So how was his practice?
His practice. Let me see here. Where do you go? Yeah, computer's tweaking out here. Yeah, it was actually pretty good in practice. His top 10 overall laps, at least, ranked like seventh.
Okay. Yeah, I think
So,
he's one I think you got to throw in the player pool.
yeah, you definitely got to keep him in play. Starting 19th, coming into this, he was one of the guys that I was like, yeah, I could see him being like a 10th to 15th place car. So,
Yep.
being at his price and starting position, if he can finish at the top level of that there, then he'll be a pretty decent play. And I think you said he's got to finish 12th to meet 5X. I think that's probably
Yes.
right around where he finishes.
Yeah.
I see him being like an 8th to 12th place car.
Yep.
But I
Yeah,
feel like this is one of those teams that could throw the option tire on early, and then he ends up in the top 5 and just stays there.
yeah. Yeah. If he had his old crew chief, I bet he would. Definitely bet he would. I don't know much about his new crew chief, but old oh fuck. What the hell was his name in the
Booty.
wheelchair? Booty. Yeah, old Booty. He would have done it. Um so next up we got Keselowski starting 20th. He has to finish 11th. DraftKings has him as plus 110 for a top 10, which I think is crazy. I don't know how he looked in practice. That's not really sticking out to me right now, but I mean, Keselowski runs pretty good here from what sticks out to me. 15th. I guess he doesn't. I mean, other than that one fourth place finish, but as a guy that
He,
saves tires and stuff,
yeah, he was right there around Bubba. Like they had about identical lap times in practice. So being that they start 19th and 20th, they're pretty close in price range. I could see making it a role that you don't have more than one of these guys.
yes, yes, yeah, I definitely agree. I don't know. Yeah, I definitely think Keselowski is going to be in my player pool. I don't think I'm like overly high on him, but
No, I
I
can
I
see like
thought I thought
10
his
to
finishes were
15.
actually better than what they were. I guess he really only has that one fourth place finish. That's it. But yeah. So, but he definitely has a lot of place differential built in. But Bubba, I guess, is $700 cheaper. So interesting to note. Next up, Austin Dillon. Starting 21st, needs to finish 17th. I'm just gonna look here because I'm curious. I know he's right around the top 15 guy. Oh no, yeah, around top 15 ish. He did win Richmond, or yeah, he won
Kinda.
Richmond, kinda ish, which is worth noting. But I don't.
Which I'm gonna pull that up real quick because I have the fast laps and whatnot for that track.
Okay, average running. He's not really there either. Oof. I don't know. Everything's telling me to stay away from Dylan, but I could also see a scenario. DraftKings
Yeah.
ha-
How
DraftKings has him as plus 360 for a top 10.
yeah, that's I don't really have any interest in that.
Yeah.
How many laps led do you think he had in that Richmond race?
Honestly, he had that race won by a lot. I would say, but he kind of like came and went, what, 30 or 40?
That's he had 35 laps led.
35. Yeah. I remember that last stage he kind of got to the lead and he had that race won. I mean, that's where like kudos to him. Like I would have kind of been pissed off if that would have slipped out of my fingertips too.
How many fastest laps do you think he had though?
Let's say 15.
12. So
12. Okay. Yeah. Huh.
I just
Interesting. Yep.
I think red's the right color here. I can't do
Yep.
it.
I can't do it either. Sorry, Austin. Next up, Ricky Stenhouse, 5,200, starting 22nd. He has to finish 19th to hit 5x.
I could see making him yellow. He's
Yeah.
not someone I'm honestly, he's somebody I'm trying to stay away from, but
Yeah.
you're gonna need somebody in that range, and I feel like you're just gonna mix and match because
I couldn't
not
agree more. Yeah, you're
not
just gonna
one of
mix
them
and
stick
match.
out.
No. Because, yeah, he best finish 19th. That was when he was optimal there. Other than that, he's about a 30th place driver. Nothing really spectacular. So, next up, Cole Custer, 6,300. He has to finish 17th. I don't. I personally don't see it. Sterling, is there anything there that you see?
No, he was terrible in practice.
Yep.
Hasn't been good in cup either, really. So
Yeah.
this
Next up,
here is potentially my favorite play on the slate outside of Byron. He was a top three car in practice. He's been I want to say a top three car in quality passes here too.
should we just call him Ross Brastrain since he
I'm good
he
with
could
it.
he could be a killer bee here.
That's
Brass chain. There we go. Brass
yeah.
chain. Old Ross Brass chain. So yeah, he's gonna be a killer bee, I think, with Blaney, Byron, and Bell. I think old Ross Brass Strain. I think I'm right there with you, Sterling. I think he's gonna be up there with Byron as like one of my favorite plays.
Yeah, that's I was trying to find. He ranks seventh in quality passes. So
Okay, so worth noting he has to finish 11th to hit 5x. He's minus 125 for a top 10. So obviously DraftKings thinks he's going to get there. And he's also 10th favorite to win this race on DraftKings. So definitely worth noting.
and he's plus 260 to top five, which I think he actually has a pretty good chance of getting there.
Yeah, I do too. And it's worth noting, I do remember he won this, what was it, the year Larson won the championship, I believe. Or was that Blaney? Blaney, one of I don't know, I don't remember. 2 years ago he won here. I think it was the Blaney championship.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think it was the Blaney one now that I think about it. But yeah, so Ross does know how to
Yeah,
win here.
2023.
Yep. So Ross knows how to get around here. I think Ross is probably the 100% lock him in every lineup, probably for me. Ty Dillon starting 25th, has to finish 21st. I can't
Ty, Zane, and Todd Gilliland. I think you just kind of group together, and then
and just
you could throw Raleigh Herbs, you could throw SVG, you could really throw like the. I'm gonna sort by price in here for myself, and yeah, that's pretty much it down there. Because other than that, you got Cody Ware and Catherine Legg, but Ty
yeah.
Dillon. We'll say Ty Dillon, Ricky Stenhouse, John Hunter Nemechek, Zane Smith, Todd Gillen, Riley Herbst. We'll just kind of group all those guys together. John Hunter Nemechek clearly has the safest floor, the highest
Yes.
ceiling. I
Yes.
feel like he's obviously the better play of the bunch. I think Zane Smith is my favorite. But
Oh, you're
honestly,
you're saying you're playing these guys.
I think you're gonna have to. I think
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. I was thinking
I don't
you were
I don't know if I'm gonna get any Ty Dillon, but I'm just
okay.
saying like I think you group these guys together, play more than one of them, and you just
Yeah.
kind of hope you get the right combination because I feel like you are gonna have to come down into this range.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Yeah, you're gonna have to probably punt today, especially if you want, definitely more than one of the killer bees in there. You're definitely gonna have to punt. Uh, I'm kind of with you. I think Riley Herbst, John Hunter are probably my favorite. Is that what you said?
I think I would probably. rank them Zane Smith, John Hunter, Todd Gillen, Ricky Stenhouse, Ty Dillon, Riley Herbst. Maybe just
Okay.
switch Riley Herbst and Ty Dillon, but
Okay. All right. Next up we got Ryan Preece. Starting 28th in an RFK car. I definitely, short flat tracks. You think of Ryan Preece, I think he is going to be I think he's gonna be a top play for me. I don't know if you saw anything Sterling it's gonna talk me out of him.
no, I mean, there wasn't anything that really stuck out to me. He's projected for like roughly 12% ownership. His practice wasn't great, but we say it every week. We never see
Yep.
RFK practice great,
Yep.
but we did see the two teammates, Kozlowski and Busher, finish top five in this race last year.
Yep.
I I don't know. It sucks because I really don't want to play Brees, but I feel like you're forced into this range and you're gonna have to play somebody down here. And I think him and Gregson is where I'm gonna try to land.
Yeah.
But
Um,
Brees specifically, I plan on being a little light on.
okay. Okay. Alright. So Priest has to finish 18th today to get like the 5 times value. And if you want to look at DraftKings, he's plus 450 for a top 10. So DraftKings thinks he's not gonna get inside the top 10, obviously. So I definitely see your point. I'm gonna make him a little bit green, but not as green as all the other guys. I think I'm gonna be as far as punts go, I think he's gonna be kind of my favorite ish between him and Gregson in that range.
I
Um,
think he's one of them guys that you could see throw the option tire on early and make a big
yeah,
difference.
yeah, I definitely couldn't agree more. Next up, we got Chase Briscoe. Ironically, his name starts with a B. I think he is a great play in this range. It's tough because he's 9,000. So obviously, if you play him, you're probably taken from one of the other killer bees, but
Or
you
Bredick.
or Breddick or Brass Chain, but yeah, Briscoe and I think Bowman. I think you got to put them both in that category where I think you're playing one of them.
Yeah, I would say you see one of these next five, at least one of these guys in the optimal lineup.
Yeah, I think these next five, I think are gonna be like this color green, where like I don't know if there's one that you like more than the others.
I Gregson kind of sticks out to me just for the simple fact I think he's going to be way lower owned than what he should be.
Yeah. So here's DraftKings. Okay, I'm just gonna throw this out there. Briscoe has to finish 14th. Okay, to hit 5x. DraftKings has him as a top 10 at minus 105. So they think Briscoe is going to get there. Basically, if I see a minus, I think, okay, DraftKings kind of thinks they're going to get there. So, I mean, that's like a 50-50, kind of like you said. But I think if he's minus money, it's like DraftKings almost thinks Briscoe is going to get there more than these other guys. Suarez has to finish 19th for what it's worth. It's plus 360 for a top 10. Bowman is plus 170 for a top 10. He's got to finish 18th. Gregson has to finish 20th, and he's plus 360 for a top 10. I know all he has to finish is 20th, but I just got top 20 or top 10 just for shits and giggles. Ty Gibbs, he has to finish 18th, and he's plus 190.
Plus 190 for him.
Yeah,
That kind of shocks me that he's plus and Briscoe's minus.
I know. So DraftKings is really favoring Briscoe here.
So let's
Like,
say Briscoe finishes 10th. That's 54 points right there with
yep,
no fastest laps, no laps led.
yep,
And what's that, like 6x?
yeah, yeah, that is 6x, yeah.
All those years of playing around the world.
So, yeah, I think Briscoe is one of them guys. I think I'm actually probably going to change his green. I don't know if you would agree with that.
Yeah, that's I think Briscoe's dark green. I think Gibbs is dark green. You leave the rest of them
Yeah. Yeah.
Bowman light green. I think you can make an argument for Suarez to be less owned for the simple fact that I think he's going to be stupid owned because of the
Yeah.
option tire. There's so many people looking back at Richmond. I'm not saying that's the wrong thing to do,
Right.
but
Right.
everyone's going to see, oh, Suarez, he took the option tire, had 93 fucking lap sled or fast slaps, whichever one it was. But I'm not saying Suarez doesn't get there, but I think he could very well be the fate of the day.
Yeah. I definitely can't disagree with you. I mean, Suarez just hasn't really shown any speed yet this year either, other than last week qualified on the pole, but or not qualified on the pole. He qualified high, but definitely
Seeing
faded.
him at like 30% owned too.
Oh,
So,
that's stupid high. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'd rather play Gregson, honestly.
oh, absolutely.
So I'm right there with you. So Cody Ware, we don't got to talk about. I don't see a scenario where I'm playing Cody Ware. John Hunter Nemechek, 5,300. He has to finish 25th. So he has to pass 11 cars.
I think it's doable. Like, I feel like it's kind of a struggle because I feel like what he needs is right around his ceiling.
Exactly. Exactly. Like he does have the safest floor, like you kind of said. It's just kind of tough because I mean he is 5,300. So I mean, as far as punts go, he has the safest floor.
And then, like I said earlier, he was actually slightly faster on the option tower than Larson. Now, it's
Yeah.
hard to really compare that because they were on the track at different times. There was more rubber down when Larson was out there. So it's hard to really take a whole lot from that. But I just, I feel like Nemechek is hands down the most obvious punt.
Yes. Yeah. So I think he'll be high owned also. I don't know what you see his ownership as, but I think as far as punts go, I think everybody's going to claim.
Not as high as I expected, right?
Oh wow.
Right around 20. So still owned, but not,
Yeah. Not stupidly owned.
which
Uh
based strictly off ownership, it's looking like Todd Gillen is the best play in that range. That's strictly game theory ownership approach.
and Gillen's team. At least I don't remember. Did he
Yeah,
even make
I've
it?
said it all week long. I think he's the guy that puts them fucking option
Yeah.
tires on and random 40, 50 laps led or something stupid.
I'm kind of curious. Is Do they have the same crew chief as last year? Does he I mean not they, I guess
I
him.
know it. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if he has the same crew chief as last year cuz if he has the same crew chief as last year, he's going to do it. But
If you want to kind of try and go over some more things real quick, I'll look that up.
yeah, and then next up we got Catherine, how do you say her name? Leg?
Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah.
funny. Yesterday, Clint Boyer kept saying leggy, which honestly I had no idea. But
I had no idea either. I'd probably do the same. Speaking of terrible broadcast, how about that at the Xfinity race? Them calling that a clean pass. He was at McMurray.
oh, Kleggerman drives me fucking nuts.
Yeah, he does me too.
It
Yeah,
sucks because I enjoy listening to him, but there's times where it's like, buddy, you need to fucking smoke a bowl and calm down.
yeah. So yeah, that was a good race, a good ending. I hated it for Gator because I mean, obviously you know, which honestly, the Arca race was the same way. Butterbean pretty much, had that race in hand, and
Yeah, I
but
was
that,
very disappointed in Corey Day in that race.
yeah, yeah. So yeah. So other than that, final thoughts. It's just kind of like while Sterling looks that up, I think I'm starting every lineup with basically Byron Ross. Probably like you said in the Discord, Sterling, probably Ross, and then Ty Gibbs, and try to build from that. Um, I mean,
Yeah,
make
I
another
agree.
killer B in there. I mean, I know we nicknamed Ross Brass Chain, but if you can get Reddick, if you can get Bell and Blaney, kind of mix them in, try to get 3 of them, Byron, Ross.
Ooh, I'm
Uh-oh.
so glad that you brought that up and that I looked this up because this just kind of backs me up a little more on Zane Smith because he has Todd Gillen's crew chief from last year.
Ah, Sterling. I like it.
I like that. And
Okay, that's
I
good.
this is kind of wild to me. This is the first time I've ever seen this actually. But J-Ski, they have the entire breakdown for each team. Like they
Mhm.
got their road crew, their pit crew, their engineers, or like every position on the pit crew is listed out here.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. I've always looked for crew chiefs and stuff, but I've never looked for like the tire change or fucking
Right.
fuel specialist, which I
Yeah.
don't think any of that matters. It's just kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is interesting. I mean, yeah, I couldn't name you a tire changer or anything, but yeah, it is worth noting. I mean, obviously, them guys are sought out free agents. But, yeah, so final thoughts, Sterling, I mean, are you in agreement? Like, basically, Byron trying to build from there?
Yeah, I'm pretty much 100% Byron. I'm going to be close to, if not 100%, Chastain. And I can tell you, if I don't have Chastain, it's probably because I have Briscoe. And if I don't have one of them, it's because I have Reddick.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And I'm going to try to stuff three of those guys, like Blaney, maybe Bell, but really Blaney, Byron, Reddick, Chastain, Briscoe. I'm looking to jam three of those guys in every lineup.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But yeah, I think that should do it. So, is there any last final thoughts you want to say?
Let
Or
me
we
look one now.
But obviously, guys, get in the Discord. We will be talking about this up until green flag, up until lock. So, but other than that, guys, thanks for joining. Definitely like, subscribe, comment. We'll try to answer anything. But other than
And
that, good luck.
yeah, good luck, and we'll see you for Vegas where we can actually know what we're going into. No option tire, no draft and package, no
Yeah.
short track package. Should get an actual race next week, and we get trucks
Yeah.
Friday. So it's always good to have
Absolutely.
trucks on Friday night.
Absolutely. So, all right, guys, we'll see you next week.
Yep.